What is up, YouTube? Today we are doing the transmission fluid. We are dropping the pan, replacing the oil filter, replacing the gasket, and last but not least, cleaning those magnets that are at the bottom of the drain pan. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. Let's get to the bottom of the truck and let's get started. Thank you for watching. Now on the passenger side, you go up. And you can see I already opened the fill plug. It's a 24 millimeter. Go ahead and get yourself a just regular 24 millimeter half-inch drive socket. Slap it on there, and that's your fill. Make sure you can always unscrew your fill before you do anything. And let's start draining the oil out and take the pan off. Time to drain some oil out of the transmission. Finishing out draining, I'm going to go ahead and work my way around and do all 10 of these bolts with a 10 millimeter socket here. They come out nice and easy. Go ahead and work my way up to the next one here. Breaking very easy. We'll just go ahead and break every single one. And work our way all the way around. Put the drain plug back on. Close it up so it's not dripping. Work my way all the way around. Get all the bolts out and we can drop the pan. Let's go ahead and finish the bolts. Now that I have all the bolts cracked, I'm going to go ahead and hand loosen every single one, and then wait for it to drop. You can see the real long threads. You can go all the way around. Alright, so I went ahead and got every bolt except for two out, one in the front and also the one in the rear. I believe those are the best two to leave for last, just because if you just went on one side and went all the way around and accidentally like popped off, you're gonna end up bending a screw. I think this is a lot easier because you can unscrew the front one and then hold it and then undo the bottom one, and then it should come off. But this will probably just stick, so not too worried about it, but just good practice to have just in case. You never know. Well, I'm glad I ended up saying that because the pan literally wants to come off as we speak. Wow, there's a lot more fluid that comes out. A lot more fluid. Definitely worth dropping the pan. Last time I didn't. And just seeing that made it just seeing all the fluid that came out of the pan made it worth it. I mean, right there. Even if I didn't replace the filter, having all that fluid come out is definitely worth it. All right. Here's our oil filter here. You can see all these different solenoids here. All these different solenoids are controlling different aspects in the transmission to make it shift and everything, different shift points. Not going to mess with anything with that. We do have one bolt here that we have to remove, unscrew it, and drop it out. I'm not going to do it quite yet because once you pull it out, all this fluid also like burps out as well. I'm going to take care of the oil pan and get it out and clean it a little bit, and we'll do that. Here's the oil pan. You can go ahead and pop off the gasket here. We've got our magnets. So go ahead and wipe magnet number one. I don't see any real metal flakes or anything. Magnet number 2. Oh, I do see a couple metal flakes in that one. Magnet number 3. Maybe a little bit of sludge there. Magnet number 4. Yeah, you can definitely see there's a little bit of metal. There's a little metal shaving. So really glad I'm pulling this guy out. And you can see all the metal is still on there. So a little metal shavings. This is a really good idea. I'm glad I actually decided to pull the pan off and not just do the drain and flush. Get these magnets clean so they can keep on doing their job. All right, let's clean the pan. All right, so go ahead and get all the oil residue, washed up. Look at all that sludge we're cleaning up, making that transmission just run nice and smooth. So stoked on that. Pretty sweet. There's a lot of oil that really sits down here in the drain pan. I mean, that's the check fill, to make sure it's full. And then here's the drain pan, and you can see the elevation here is a lot lower. So all this fluid is sitting in your drain pan. So you at least have like a quart and a half, maybe 2 quarts just sitting right here when you just do a drain and fill. We're also going to go ahead and have it soak in this pan a little bit. This is detergent and warm water. Detergent does a real good job. So go ahead and get a brush and just go around the whole thing. Get this thing perfectly clean so we can get a nice good seal on it, and it's just going to look real nice. I like putting parts back on the truck and make them look brand new. So let's go ahead and do that, get her cleaned up again, and we'll be ready for business. All right, now it's time to remove that oil filter. So we're gonna go ahead and get our 10mm socket again and break both of those bolts loose. Here's what those bolts look like. Now prepare for a nice fun mess. It's gonna shower on us a little bit as we pop this bad boy down. Oh, we got one more hiding right here. And you can see it does another big splash. I even got it on the camera a little bit. Oil filter is definitely nice and wet. Alright, one thing to note on the oil filter is it does not come with this O-ring. You need to order it separately. So I got that part number in the description below, but it sits right there. And when you're doing that, setting it up for the new one, make sure the old one fell out. So you can see my old one fell out right here, just to make sure, because it didn't slide out on the oil filter. It's not very snug there. So make sure it actually comes out. If not, go look up inside your transmission, make sure it's there. But here's the old one. We got ourselves a new one. Let's go ahead and get this one up there and installed. Now we got ourselves the brand new oil filter with the O-ring slid onto here. You want to make sure you got a little bit of oil all around that O-ring here. Slide it on, and then we'll go ahead and place it back where it was. So you can kind of feel it fit up in there. Feel that kind of click. Now it's into place. Go ahead and get this top right corner screw in. Just hand thread it. You know, you don't want to cross thread anything here. Now I'm going to put it in. Go ahead and use my socket. Spin it up. You're almost done. Just want to take your time on this. Don't want to rush this part. Alright, so now that it's all hand tight, go ahead and just take a quick look. And make sure that's sitting there nice and flat, which it is. Everything's not pressed up there or crooked. It all looks really good. So we're going to go ahead and tighten it up. Go ahead and torque the oil filter here to 69 inch-pounds for our 10 millimeter socket. So we got all 4 of our clean magnets here. It actually took a long time to clean these bad boys, but we're going to go ahead and send them back in here like so. Just do a last final cleaning on them. Spotless magnets here. Take pride in clean magnets. Alright, and there we go. So let's go ahead and put the gasket on. Let's figure out this orientation. That's the easiest way to see it is up here. You can see these 2 holes are the closest, and then we can go ahead and work our way around and set the gasket down. Does look a bit twisted here, so just slowly untwist it. Then now you can see we got ourselves a nicely fitted gasket. You can see up here it's peeling up just because it's a little brand new gasket. Alright, so we want to go ahead and clean the nice contact patch here so the seal has a good area to touch on, just so you don't have any areas that's going to create a gap and actually have you create a leak. So you don't want to do that, so just make sure it's nice and clean. Double check and make sure the gasket is still on there right, which it is. So we're going to go ahead and slide it up there. Seems like it's fitting pretty nice. Let's get this back one in, which is threaded in now. And go ahead and go over to this front one. Hand threading, of course. And then now we got both of those started, so the drain pan can sit all the way up there and we can get all 8 other bolts in. I went around and hand tightened every single one. I've got my nice small torque wrench. I've got it set to 69 foot-pounds. If you don't have one of these, go ahead and check my description below. I really like this one. It actually works pretty dang well. And there it is. You can go to the other side here. Just like a tire. Alright, for the bolts I went and did like a star pattern, just like what you do on a tire, and then I went around and just double checked consecutively and made sure they all stayed in the same place, because once you start doing the star pattern and then you get to this one might have just loosened up just a hair. But all in all, it's looking good. Now we're going to go ahead and pull this guy out, our fill plug, and fill it up with some oil until it comes out, and then we can go ahead and cycle everything and get it up to temperature, and then make sure it's perfectly full. Put this guy back in and go for a spin, and then double check again. All right, so don't forget to replace your drain plug with a new seal. It's a pressure washer. And then we're going to go ahead and torque this guy to 15 foot-pounds. The drain plug is 15 foot-pounds, and the check plug is also 15 foot-pounds. Go ahead and remove the check plug, and we're going to fill the transmission with some brand new Toyota ATF WS fluid. Let's go. If you want to see how you fill up the transmission and check the level, please see my drain and fill transmission video prior to this one and watch that for the exact procedure. The sample from my 60,000 mile transmission, I did do a drain and fill with 3 quarts at 30,000 miles. So it helped out a little bit, but you can see it definitely needed to be changed. The main reason why it looks dark is because when your transmission gets hot, it'll start burning up with those clutches in there, and those clutches are getting super hot, creating friction, and it gets really hot. That oil molecule gets there, cools it down, and actually cleans it up if it burns a little bit. So that's why you're seeing a little bit of black here. But the real truth is if you put it on a paper towel, here's the 60,000 mile one, and then here is brand new oil. You can see it still has a lot of color to it, which is good. However, just looking at the oil, it's a good time to change it compared to brand new oil that's gonna allow the transmission to be cleaned. And also I cleaned the inside of the pan, so it's gonna collect all of the new deposits that's gonna create over the next 60,000 miles. So pretty cool. I'm glad the transmission looks this way. If it's any darker or if it's black, that means your transmission and clutch plates are burning. And if you replace your oil, you could remove all those deposits, and that's when you have problems. There's a lot of misconceptions with changing out your fluid in your transmission because most people change the fluid too late. If you do it often enough, your transmission will basically last 250, 300,000 miles all day long if you take care of it. Now, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Please click that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next video.